everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video is actually going to be presented to you guys by Jay. He has been working on testing out a free strategy from TradersLanding. If you guys don't know who he is, you can go check him out. Jay will talk about it a little bit more in this video. Basically, this is a trader who does a lot of back testing, has a ton of free strategies. So a lot of you guys do ask about like back testing out free strategies and showing all of this, and it is extremely time consuming to do what it is that we do when we show data broken down and all of that. Because of that, we wanted to show you guys resources for people who have already done it. So if you guys haven't already, you can go check out the video. I'll link it here on the right hand corner, but that is a video just that I went over recently about all free resources, like for newer traders especially, trying to find places online where you can get things for free. There is always a way to find stuff for free. It's just about how much time and energy you want to put into it. So we've tried to make it a little bit easier and condense it into one video. So check out that video if you are interested in hearing more about places you find some free content. Since I did that video, I knew you guys were going to be like, hey, like, can you actually show, does this person truly do good strategies? And a lot of you guys have asked me about other people who do similar types of things. I don't want to name anybody specifically on here because some of those people, we have tested the stuff they present and we get nowhere near the same numbers that they're presenting on YouTube. So I don't want to cause issues with anybody, but you know, some of the stuff is done correctly and some of it is definitely probably more clickbaity for you guys, and we're not getting the same numbers that they say they're getting. So because of that, we wanted to make sure we were going to present somebody that we're actually getting similar results with. And this TradersLanding, we definitely have gotten some similar results with. Jay's going to go over one of the easier strategies that we found on there that we think would work for most people to follow along with, and to also just show like a couple of different results and different ways that like we would look at it and break it down. So if you guys are interested, keep watching and I will see you guys in the next video.
What's up everybody, it's Jay, and in this video I'm going to be going over a free strategy that I found, and I've also went ahead and back tested this for 7 months to prove its profitability, and I'm going to be telling you the pros and cons of what I think about this strategy. And if this is something that you might enjoy, please let us know and feel free to drop a like down below, subscribe, and also comment about what you liked about this video and if you want to see things like this in the future. And now that I got that shameless plug out the way, I'm going to start now. So TradersLanding.net is a website that somebody had recommended to me. They had said that they test out strategies. They have YouTube videos giving you long and short examples. They give you all the indicators, all the indicator settings, which is really cool. And they kind of give you an idea at the end of how to optimize this and moving forward, and what they think about the system in a nutshell. So I thought this was pretty cool. And so I was navigating around this website and I ran across the test results under tools. And then I saw that there was like a little TradersLanding score out of 1 out of 10. So I was curious to see like what the top things were, and the top 3 just seemed kind of ridiculous to me for 100 trades. I understand it's the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frames, but I went ahead and chose the 4th one to look at. Because it was only about 7 months that it took for 100 trades, which is a little more it's a little more realistic of what we want to be looking for. And this caught my eye also on the indicator list was the way, shout out my boy Cad, he loves this indicator. And yeah, so when I clicked it I was like, oh, I thought this was cool. And then also I think this was one of the only ones that doesn't have a hyperlink to the YouTube video, but if you simply just copy and paste this into YouTube, you'll find the video for this. But what's cool is they give you a whole description of everything. Like they'll tell you the timestamps of everything in the video, like testing results, optimization summary, examples going long and short, setting up the indicators. It tells you what instrument they tested, the time frame, which I also did the 30-minute, but instead of UJ, I decided to do GU just to change it up. And then, yeah, and then it gives you all the indicators, tells you all the settings and whatnot. So yeah, so what I decided to do was test this out myself. So I'm going to be going over all the settings that you needed to know, all the indicators and whatnot. But feel free to watch that video in case you want to see how they do it. But I'm basically going to be telling you the same exact thing. So with all that said, the first indicator that you'll want to have is the EMA. I just typed in EMA in TradingView. I clicked this by DK Swag, and I simply just I took off, sorry, the 20 and the 50 EMA, and I kept the 200. I also changed, I think, the thickness, but I didn't change the color. But you can choose whatever color you want. But the premise of this is that this is the 200 EMA. Similar to other trend strategies, you can only look for buys when you're above the EMA, and you can only look for sells when you're below the EMA. Second, what you'll need to have is the SSL channel. It'll look something like this. So you'll go here and type SSL channel, and it is by Erwin Beckers, and that's what you're going to want. And then for the settings, you're going to want to change, I'm pretty sure default's 10, you're going to want to change both of these to 21. And then next, what you're going to want to have is the way. So if you search way, and this is the one right here, the Wada Otter Explosion V2 by SHK, so by this guy or gal. And yeah, these are the settings, they're default. If the settings are different, you might not have the right way, just in case, but these are the specific settings that you'll need to have. Next, and lastly, actually, is the ATR bands. And so for the ATR bands, I believe that on default it's 1 and 1, and you're going to set these to 2. And those are all the indicators that you need. I threw on the sessions just for backtesting purposes, so I can split up everything that way. But for the premise of this, I'm just going to turn it off for now. I'm also going to turn this off for a quick second too, the ATR bands, just to kind of show you an idea of what to do. So what you want to do is the SSL channel is your trigger. You're wanting to trade crossovers of these bands. So whenever the band, like in this case, whenever the band crosses up, that is a potential trade entry. And in this case, it is a little confusing on how the bands work when you look at it first, but just remember, whichever band is at the top, that is your trade direction. So in this case, since I'll just mark it up like this, since it's the red's crossing up, that means you are now looking for a sell. And when the green's crossing up, that's when you're looking for a buy. But in this example, price is under the 200 EMA. You get a red cross up, which is alerting you to sell. And then lastly, what you need to do is look at the way, and you want to see that the volume is above the explosion line and above the dead zone line. So I'm pretty sure I might have changed this color to more, I'm pretty sure it starts blue, but blue is the dead zone line, white is the explosion line. You want to make sure that the volume is above both of them. So in this case, you have a sell entry because you have a red crossover, which alerts you for a potential sell. You're under the 200 EMA, and also your volume is above both the dead zone line and the explosion line. So you're good to go here. The reason you have the ATR bands is that is your stop loss. So in this case, I would be looking to enter at the close of this candle. Make sure you enter at the close of the candle, not sooner. And your stop loss will be at the ATR band, and you're going to look for a 1-to-1. Once you secure a 1-to-1, you will take 50% partial, and then you'll literally ride this all the way down until you get another crossover. So literally the red crosses up and they run parallel all the way down until the green crosses back up all the way over here. So you would literally secure your half of your first trade at 1%, and then set a break-even stop loss, and let the other ride until the cross. There's obviously multiple ways, but this is how I did it for backtesting purposes. And let's look for a buy. So in this case, this is actually not a buy. You can see green crosses over, you're above the 200 EMA, but unfortunately your volume is not above either of the lines. So I'm going to keep looking. This would be a potential entry again too, but you can't get into this. This would also be a potential sell. As you can see, the red's crossing up, but you're above the 200 EMA, so you cannot take that trade. So as I'm looking, so like I said, you can't take this because the volume is way too low. It's below both lines. You can't take this trade, this sell, because you're above the 200 EMA. And then now you get this trade. And volume's good to go on the way. You're above the 200 EMA, and then your green line just crossed, signaling a buy. So what I'll do is I'll wait for the close of the candle. I'll set a buy here. I'll target a 1-to-1, and then it's kind of hard to see sometimes, and you kind of have to zoom in a little bit. But if you left click the ATR bands, it'll kind of highlight for a second, and you can put that there. But majority of the time, I won't follow the ATR bands fully always. It is, I would say 80% of the time I will just put it at the ATR band, but there's certain cases where if the ATR band is below the 200 EMA, I will put my stop loss at the 200 EMA and ignore the ATR band. Or like in this case, I think it's slightly above, the ATR bands are slightly above the bottom of this candle, and I mean just put it at the bottom of the candle or just swing low. It's up to you, but the ATR bands are there for you as a stop loss placement, so you can easily, like, you can feel safe that you're not too wrong in that case, because I know a lot of people struggle with stop losses, and that's a frequent question. So you are not, let me just keep going. You are not worried about crossovers until you're at that 1-to-1. I will say that. So as you can see, you have a cross down, you can't take the sell anyway. You have a cross down, you can't take the sell anyway. And you get to your 1-to-1 here, so now you secure at 50% partial. You bring up your break-even stop loss, and you're just riding this through. And you'll ride it all the way to here. Because as you can see, it has crossed down now. And that is what I'm going to be doing. And as you can see, I'm in July right now. I decided to do August to the end of February now, because if you could see here, he had done this, where is it? Okay. He had posted this in July, and he did 7 months. So basically he did the first half of 2021. So I decided that I would just do the second half of 2021. And as you could see, I'll put the sessions on. You're about to see a lot of lines, but as you could see, this is August, and I did it all the way until February. And so getting into the data, as you can see at the bottom, I did a couple different iterations just to see what would change, and this 2 take profit partial is the way to go, at least for me, just seeing it through this way. I got 141 trades in 7 months, so from August 21st till February 21st, I got 141 trades. It was a 60% win rate, which is pretty solid, and about a 34.6 gain. So just to kind of go over all the stats, August and November were negative, and if we see down here, mixed had a really bad August, but Asian session was positive for both. Asian session actually, except until January, was positive through all the months that I tested, and I think this is a really good strategy, to be honest with you. It's very safe. I think it's beginner friendly. It's super easy to catch on. The only thing that I could see kind of problematic at first is just getting used to these SSL channels, just knowing that whatever crosses up that color line, that's what you're looking for. So when the red's crossing up, it's a sell, but when the green is crossing up here, it's a buy entry. So that's like the main thing that you just have to understand to be able to do. But looking at the session splits, you could see that New York is really good. You only had 13 trades in those 7 months, but this is the difference between it. I am trading GU. I'm trading a forex pair, so there is. I am willing to take a lot less trades whenever I'm backtesting on forex pairs than indices, because indices I'm usually trading NAS and US 30, and so that's two things. So you don't really have much variety or just different options to be able to trade more. In forex, you have 28 different pairs, like main pairs that you could trade. So if I'm only taking 13 trades here, but I have a 76% gain, I could be looking at, I don't know, maybe EU, maybe even UJ that he had tested as well, and just like different pairs that you like, and see if you could test them and maybe get like 4 or 5 of them, and you could bump that number from 13 maybe up to 60, 70. I mean, ideally 100 would be nice, and anything around there will be really cool to have. But all of the sessions were positive. They all had over a 57 win rate, which is really clean. And I went ahead and did some iterations. So what these were variations. What I wanted to see was, instead of doing the first TP, I take 50% of the trade and then set break even on my other half of the trade that's running and close until the cross. What I decided to do was just shoot for a 1-to-1, win or lose, to where I shoot for a 1-to-1 reward to risk, and that was it. And as you could see, obviously it's the same win rate, because once you get to 1-to-1, then you can't lose on both of these. But as you can see, 29% compared to the 34, so you lose out on a little bit of percent gain. And as you keep going, 1.25, the win rate tanked really hard and it was 12%. You had more negative months, and then going to a 1.5 reward to risk, the win rate was really bad, and I would not recommend that. So what he had tested, which it was the 2 take profit, 1 partial, let the other ride, is actually the best thing for this strategy as I've seen right now. It took him 7.5 months for 100 trades, and it took me like 4 months basically to get 100 trades compared to his 7. But he had a 65% gain and a 74 win rate, while I had a 60 and a 34. It's slightly different, but the results are still really good. It was a 30-minute, and it was like you go for a 1-to-1, then a dynamic, and I really enjoyed this. I think this could be a really good strategy. This is as much as I'm gonna do. If you are interested in this, please feel free to try different time frames, because I'm pretty sure in his description he says he had tested this on, I think he said these trading systems can be ported over to many instruments, forex, crypto, option stocks. Warning, be sure to do your own backtesting, obviously, and of that nature. And so I believe this could honestly work on lower time frames. I just never tested it. So if you're interested, if it does work on that, do your own due diligence and backtest this. But here is everything that I have found for you. 30-minute is profitable and does very well. I think it's good by itself. Just add a few more pairs to it. And yeah, feel free to rock out. This is all I got for today's video, and I hope y'all enjoy. Peace.